All right, so today we're taking a deep dive into near-death experiences.
Mysterious.
They really are. We're talking about those incredible experiences people report when they, well, almost die.
Fascinating stuff.
It is. And we're diving deep into Dr. Jeffrey Long's research, particularly his books, Evidence of the Afterlife and God and the Afterlife.
And of course, we can't forget all those amazing accounts on the Near-Death Experience Research Foundation website.
Right, the NDERF website.
So much to unpack there.
Absolutely. So our mission, if you will, is to unpack the most common elements of these experiences, explore the scientific evidence that seems to support their validity.
And grasp the profound impact these events have on those who experience them.
Exactly.
Big questions.
Sure. So let's start with the basics, okay? Like what exactly defines a near-death experience? It's got to be more than simply, a close call, right?
Definitely more than just, brushing up against death.
Right.
What distinguishes a true near-death experience is the presence of these lucid, often incredibly vivid experiences while the individual's unconscious or even clinically dead.
Clinically dead.
Yes. Essentially, their brain activity, the kind we believe is necessary for consciousness, should be absent.
So they shouldn't even be able to have experiences.
That's the paradox, isn't it?
It is.
And that's where the work of NDRF is so crucial.
Okay.
They've got a very strict definition of NDEs, and they utilize a validated tool called the NDE scale.
That's a scale.
Yep. To ensure they're analyzing genuine experiences.
Not just any brush with death.
Exactly.
So they're filtering out the noise.
And focusing on those profound cases.
I see. So from these carefully vetted NDEs,
they've identified a pattern.
A pattern.
12 consistent elements that frequently occur in a particular order.
Interesting. So regardless of the person's background or culture.
That's the thing. It seems to be universal, this human experience.
That's amazing. Like a universal human experience.
It is fascinating. For example, think about it. The first element is often an out-of-body experience, or OBE.
You mean like floating above their own bodies?
Exactly. Sometimes they even witness their own resuscitation efforts.
Hold on, so they're seeing things.
And what's remarkable is they can later recount specific details.
But how is that even possible? If they're clinically dead, I mean...
It challenges our understanding of consciousness, that's for sure.
It really does. You're saying people under general anesthesia where conscious awareness should be impossible, they're describing events that are later confirmed.
It suggests that consciousness might operate independently from the physical body.
Wow, that's mind-blowing. So, okay, you're having an out-of-body experience. What else might you encounter during an NDE?
Well, many describe their senses becoming incredibly heightened.
Heightened? Like how?
Colors seem more vivid, sounds clearer, even emotions are amplified.
That's interesting, because you'd think things would just fade away.
Right. You'd expect things to, diminish as you approach death, not intensify.
So it's like everything's turned up to 11.
Exactly. And then for some, there's the classic image we often associate with near-death experiences, the tunnel and the light.
Ah, the tunnel and the light.
Not everyone experiences this, but those who do consistently describe it as intensely bright, overwhelmingly welcoming, and often associated with profound feelings of love and peace.
So we've got the OBE, the heightened senses, the tunnel, the light. What comes next?
Well, for many, the experience deepens.
Deepens how?
They encounter deceased loved ones.
Loved ones?
Yes, and these loved ones often appear healthy and vibrant, regardless of their actual cause of death.
Wow, I can only imagine how comforting that would be.
Especially in the face of, death itself.
Yeah, it must be reassuring, like validation.
It offers a sense of peace and connection, allowing individuals to, let go of their fear.
I see, and that was the life review, right?
You got it. Imagine experiencing a panoramic view of your entire life, not as a judgment, but as a comprehensive understanding of your impact, particularly the emotional impact you've had on others.
Like seeing the ripple effect of every choice you've made.
It's powerful stuff.
It sounds overwhelming.
Many NDErs describe feeling an overwhelming sense of empathy during this review.
Empathy.
Yes. They suddenly understand the consequences of their choices on a much deeper level.
Wow, is there more?
There is. Another element often reported is this, special knowledge.
Special knowledge. What kind of knowledge?
Insights about the universe, themselves, or even the meaning of life.
And this knowledge comes how?
It often comes inexplicably, without any conscious effort.
Like it's just downloaded into their consciousness.
Precisely. And sometimes, NDErs describe encountering a boundary.
A boundary.
A physical or symbolic marker.
Okay.
And crossing it implies you can't return to earthly life.
A point of no return.
It does have that feeling, doesn't it?
It does. And then finally, there's the coming back part.
Right, the return.
Often accompanied by reluctance, a feeling that it's not their time.
Or a sense of purpose.
A mission to fulfill.
That's powerful stuff.
It sounds incredible, but I have to admit, a part of me is still skeptical.
Skepticism is natural.
I mean, couldn't this all be explained away as hallucinations from a dying brain?
That's a common explanation.
Right.
But the evidence suggests there's more to it.
More to it.
Remember those NDEs under general anesthesia we talked about?
Yeah, where brain activity should be significantly suppressed.
Exactly. Makes it harder to dismiss as simple hallucinations, doesn't it?
It does. What else?
Well, we also have accounts from people born blind.
Blind.
Who describe incredibly detailed visual experiences during their NDEs.
That's amazing.
Challenges our current understanding of how sight works.
It does. So it's not just cultural influence either, right? Like people mimicking what they've seen in movies or books.
If that were the case, you'd expect inconsistencies over time.
Yeah.
But these accounts have remained remarkably consistent, even predating widespread awareness of the phenomenon.
It's like something deeper.
And we see these similarities in young children, too.
Children.
Who have limited understanding of death.
So it's not just a matter of, like, mimicking. It's something deeper.
It suggests it might tap into something more innate.
More universal.
Precisely.
What about religion? Do people from different backgrounds have different experiences?
That's one of the most compelling aspects.
Really?
The cross-cultural consistency is remarkable.
Okay.
NDEs with these same core elements are reported worldwide, regardless of religious background.
Regardless of background.
Upbringing, belief system.
Wow, that's fascinating.
It points towards something profoundly human, something that transcends our differences.
So we're really just scratching the surface here.
It seems that way.
And there's one specific analysis I'm curious about, Dr. Long's God study.
Ah, yes, the God study.
Which focuses on encounters with a higher power.
And the findings are truly compelling.
In what way?
Well, over 64% of NDEs reported encountering God or a supreme being during their experience.
And this number jumps to 81.9% who came to believe in God after their NDE.
It's a significant increase.
Definitely something we need to unpack further.
Absolutely. We'll delve into those encounters and explore what they might reveal about our understanding of the divine in part 2 of this deep dive.
I can't wait. Welcome back to our deep dive into near-death experiences. Last time we were talking about the common elements of NDEs, the evidence that suggests they're more than hallucinations.
And those fascinating after effects that people report.
Right. And now I want to zoom in on this.
Dr. Long's God study?
Yeah. This analysis within the NDRF data that focused on encounters with God.
Or a supreme being.
Right. A higher power. And like we said, the results are pretty compelling.
Over 64% of NDEs reporting such an encounter.
And then even more striking, that number rising to 81.9% who came to believe in God after their NDE.
It really makes you think.
It does. So what were these encounters like? Were people, seeing a man with a white beard on a cloud?
Well, not exactly, no. The descriptions were way more nuanced, more varied than that.
Okay, interesting.
While some did perceive a figure, resembling classic depictions,
okay,
many described God as like a radiant light or a feeling of all-encompassing love. Like a universal presence, a source of knowledge and understanding, something much bigger than themselves.
So tapping into that sense of interconnectedness we talked about?
Exactly. There's this common thread of unity, this oneness with God.
Oneness.
They describe feeling like made of the same essence as God, a complete merging, a dissolving into that divine presence.
Wow, that sounds intense.
It challenges our ideas of separation and individuality.
I bet. To experience that kind of unity, that feeling of complete acceptance
and love,
it's got to be life-changing.
It's transformative.
And what's interesting is you're saying these encounters weren't limited to people who are already religious.
That's what's so fascinating. Many NDErs had no prior belief in God.
Some were even skeptical.
Absolutely. Yet they came away profoundly changed, feeling this connection to something they hadn't believed in before.
Like the experience bypassed their belief systems.
Touched them on a deeper level.
So does Dr. Long try to explain how this is possible?
Well, he suggests that these experiences might tap into something fundamental about human consciousness.
It's fundamental how?
Something that connects us to a greater reality, regardless of our beliefs.
Interesting thought.
He proposes that we all have the potential for these kinds of transcendent experiences, even without a near-death event.
That's a really intriguing idea.
It is, isn't it?
Okay, so we've been focusing on, like, the positive transformations associated with NDEs.
Less fear of death, increased compassion, newfound faith.
Right. But what about the less pleasant experiences?
You mean the hellish NDEs.
Yeah,
So they are part of the spectrum.
so they do exist.
They do. And while they're less common than the positive ones,
Okay.
they're equally important to consider.
So what makes an NDE hellish? Like, what do people report?
Well, it often involves feelings of fear, isolation, darkness.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
Sometimes encounters with menacing beings.
Menacing beings.
Some describe being trapped in a void
That sounds terrifying.
or a sense of overwhelming despair.
Pretty much the opposite of those blissful encounters.
It can be unsettling.
But wait, you're saying even these negative experiences often lead to positive transformations.
That's the thing. It's fascinating.
How's that possible?
For many, it's a wake-up call.
A wake-up call.
It prompts them to reevaluate their lives, make changes, become more compassionate.
So maybe they have to confront their shadow self to heal and grow.
It's one way to look at it.
It speaks to the transformative power, I guess, regardless of the content.
Positive or negative, they shake people out of their complacency.
They face the big questions about life and death.
Their place in the world.
Makes you think about what it all means.
It does. It does. But it's important to note that the interpretation of these hellish NDEs can be very subjective.
Subjective.
What's terrifying to one person, another might interpret differently.
Right, it's all about individual perception.
Some researchers even propose they might be symbolic communication.
Symbolic? From what?
From the subconscious, urging the person towards growth, transformation.
So not necessarily a literal hell, but more like...
Inner turmoil, unresolved issues.
Interesting.
Regardless, even the less pleasant NDEs often lead to positive change.
This conversation is giving me a lot to think about.
Me too.
So where does all this leave us? What are the main takeaways from the God study and all these NDERF findings?
I think one of the most important takeaways is the sheer volume of consistent accounts. Like, regardless of background, culture, belief system,
People are reporting similar elements.
it suggests a universal aspect to these experiences.
Something beyond imagination or cultural influence.
Exactly. Like, we're
Yeah.
tapping into something fundamental.
About human consciousness.
And our potential for experiences that go beyond the physical world.
And the God study in particular.
Highlights the impact these experiences can have on our understanding of the divine.
Right, suggesting encounters with a higher power might be more common than we realize.
And they can lead to profound shifts in faith and spirituality.
But even beyond that, I mean, the NDRF data offers insights into consciousness itself.
The power of love, interconnectedness,
The transformative potential of facing death.
even if just for a moment,
It's a rich tapestry of human experience.
waiting to be understood.
And that's what we'll continue to do in Part 3. We'll dive into the specific messages and insights NDErs bring back, exploring what they might reveal about, the purpose of life,
The importance of relationship,
even the nature of reality itself.
a journey that promises to challenge assumptions
Expand our awareness.
and offer a glimpse into the mysteries beyond our everyday perception.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. It's always fascinating to hear what people have learned from these profound experiences.
See you soon for Part 3. Welcome back for the final part of our deep dive into near-death experiences. We've covered so much ground, the elements of NDEs,
The research that's lending them credibility,
the God,
those incredible encounters,
and all those amazing transformations they inspire.
it's been quite a journey.
It really has. But now I'm really curious to hear about, the messages.
The insights, the knowledge people bring back.
Like, what did they learn?
Well, it's remarkable how these messages often converge on certain themes.
Getting across different NDEs.
And one of the most prevalent is the importance of love.
Love.
Not just romantic love, but like a universal, unconditional
To
love.
all beings.
Exactly. Like they're seeing that interconnectedness, that sense of unity with everything.
We're all part of something much greater.
That's the message.
And that translates into what? A heightened sense of compassion.
Absolutely. Many NDErs return with this deep desire to make the world a better place, to spread kindness and understanding.
Like, they've been given a glimpse of this true nature of reality,
The underlying unity that connects us all.
inspiring them to live differently.
To act from a place of love and compassion.
And this understanding, does it extend to themselves too?
Oh, absolutely. Many NDErs report this greater sense of self-acceptance, forgiveness,
Like a cosmic reset.
letting go of past hurts,
Yeah.
embracing their true selves.
And that self-love allows them
To love others more fully, more authentically.
It's like a beautiful cycle.
It is. And another message that comes up often is the importance of living a meaningful life.
Meaningful how?
Well, NDErs often come back with this renewed sense of purpose, like a desire to really make their time count.
To make a difference.
But it's not always about achieving great things, like fame or fortune.
Okay.
It's more about aligning your actions with your values, living authentically,
Following in your path.
making a positive impact, no matter how small,
So living a life that's true to yourself.
to your soul's purpose.
Not what others expect.
Exactly. And this often involves a shift in priorities, less emphasis on material possessions.
More emphasis on relationships, personal growth, spiritual connection.
They've seen what truly matters, what endures.
It changes their whole perspective.
It's fascinating how transformative these experiences can be.
Not just for them, but for everyone around them.
Many become teachers, healers, activists,
Using their experiences to inspire others.
sharing their stories, their insights.
Helping others find meaning and purpose.
It's the ripple effect.
And what's fascinating is you're saying these messages, these insights, they often come effortlessly.
It's not like they're actively seeking this knowledge.
It's revealed to them.
Downloaded into their consciousness.
Like a gift.
A transmission of wisdom from somewhere else.
It really makes you wonder about the potential of human consciousness, to access these realms of knowledge and understanding.
It challenges our assumptions about what's possible.
What other mysteries are out there?
It's exciting to think about, isn't it?
It is. Well, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into near-death experiences.
We've explored so much.
From the elements of NDEs,
To the research, the God study,
those profound messages,
and the transformations they inspire,
it's been an incredible journey.
into one of life's greatest mysteries.
And while we may never have all the answers,
Exploring these experiences offers valuable insights.
into consciousness, the power of love,
The potential for human transformation.
we've only just begun to scratch the surface.
There's so much more to learn.
But remember, throughout this deep dive,
We haven't added any new material.
our goal was to distill these findings for you,
To spark your curiosity,
to encourage you to explore further,
check out the NDErs website, Dr. Long's work.
find resources that resonate with you.
And most importantly, form your own interpretations.
The mystery of NDEs remains.
What do you believe?
We'll see you on our next adventure into the unknown.